How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins, Media Corner, back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time for this new episode for the series is going to be my review on the 2023 black comedy thriller film, and that is Saltburn. Now, this film was written and directed by Fennell, and this is her second film she's made as a director. Her last film being Promising Young Woman, which is one of my favorite films of 2020, and so she has now come back to make a new kind of thriller comedy film, which is this film. And in this film, we follow this young man named Oliver, played by Barry Keoghan, whom he's a student who goes to Oxford University, and he's struggling to find himself a place in that university until what ends up happening is that he finds himself drawn into the world of this charming and aristocratic classmate of his known as Felix, played by Jacob Elordi, whom he invites Oliver to his family's sprawling estate for a summer never to be forgotten. So that's pretty much the story of Saltburn. Now, this movie was one of my most anticipated movies for 2023. Like, I was really excited for Saltburn, and there were quite a few reasons why I was so excited for this movie. One was because this was Fennell's latest film she was making as a director, and for the last film she has created before as a director was, of course, Promising Young Woman, which is one of my favorite films of 2020, like I said before. I thought it was an entertaining yet fantastic sort of like thriller with a bit of sense of humor, and it is definitely one of my favorite films with Carey Mulligan, in which when it comes to her as an actress, I think she has definitely become one of my favorite actresses in the most recent years in terms of the movies that she's appeared in the most recent years, and she's delivered some amazing, compelling performances for the movies she's been in over the last few years. And another reason why I was excited for this movie was because of the cast. Like, you've got a really good talented cast in this movie here, which you got Barry Keoghan, who has definitely become one of my favorite new upcoming rising stars in terms of the movies. In terms of movies and all that. Like, he's definitely delivered some really great performances in some of the movies he's appeared in. Like, he was in Dunkirk and The Banshees of Inisherin, and of course The Batman. And you also have Jacob Elordi. I think he's a pretty talented actor. And you've also got Rosamund Pike, one of my favorite actresses. Like, she's delivered some amazing performances, namely Gone Girl being one of my favorites in terms of her performances she's done in movies. And you also have Carey Mulligan in this movie, which is pretty surprising. Which, like I said before, she's one of my favorite actresses. And you've got Richard E. Grant, who's another one of my favorites. Like, he's a really great actor. Like, he's delivered some amazing performances over the last few years and decades. And this film came out around November of last year in the UK and in the US. Well, it came out on the 17th of November, and I didn't see this film on opening day because I wanted to see something else, which there were quite a lot of new releases that came out on the exact same day as this movie did. The first thing I saw was the new Hunger Games movie, so I wanted to see that film first, and so the next day I went back to my job, and I was doing my shift, and when I finished my shift, I decided to go and see this film next, and so I saw this film just after I finished my shift the next day and all that, and I still have my ticket for the film, which I do have right here, and I saw this in a pretty small screening with a quite amount of people in the screen that I was in. And after watching this whole movie here, oh my god, where do I have to begin with this movie here? This has got to be another bizarre movie that I've seen from 2023 here, alongside some of the other bizarre films I saw last year as well, like Infinity Pool and Beau is Afraid and all of that. But still, though, I really enjoy this movie here. Although I wouldn't necessarily say this is like Fennell's next new great crafted work she has done since Promising Young Woman. I wouldn't say this film is better than that. I still thought she did a really great job making this movie here and all that. For Barry Keoghan's performance as Oliver in this movie here, he was absolutely phenomenal here in terms of the material that he was given for his character in this movie here. And I thought he really nailed it through the whole material that he was given for the character of Oliver in this movie here. From where we see him at the very start of the film to later down the line in the film where he transforms into someone else. And again, Keoghan really nailed for what he was given for the character of Oliver in this movie here. And Jacob Elordi, I thought he was also fantastic as well for his performance in this movie here. And yeah, the material for his character in this movie here was also really great as well. And he really nailed the whole material that he was given for his character in this movie here, for being sort of a mysterious character in the film here. And you also have in the film Archie Madekwe, which I forgot to mention before. He's in this movie, in which you may know him from Gran Turismo, which he was really good in that movie. And here, he's really great in the movie here. And Sadie Silverall was also great as well. Rosamund Pike was amazing in the movie, as well as with Carey Mulligan. And of course, Richard E. Grant is, of course, fantastic in the movie here. Just overall in general here, everyone in this movie were all fantastic for their performances here in this movie. And the direction by Emerald Fennell is absolutely gorgeous here through the camera work, which the camera work in this film was fantastic. Like, there's some really good one shots in the film, and there's some beautiful piece of scene of imagery in the film here, which I really adored those moments. And there's some really other good, like, other camera work styles in the film and all that, in terms of like the tone mixtures and all that, which the tone mixtures in this film, yeah, were very well balanced. Yeah, like there are times where the film is really unsettling and very disturbing, because there are some like bizarre imagery in this film here and some really bizarre scenes in which, when it came to those moments, they were absolutely insane. And as I was watching the film, when it came to some of those moments, there were times where as I was watching the film, like I almost wanted to spit out my popcorn while I was watching this film here, because I felt like I wasn't gonna have the stomach to myself while I was watching the film. And there are times where the film has some comedic moments, and I thought those moments were just genuinely so funny, and they're so tongue-in-cheek. There's a bunch of tongue-in-cheek humor here and there in this movie here. And the sets and all look really beautiful, as well as with the costumes and all that, which all that he has is absolutely beautiful. And the writing as well was very well written by Emerald Fennell. And and I thought it was really riveting at the same time as well, in terms of the tone mixtures that this film balances together and all that. And the storytelling in this film is pretty puzzle piecing and all that, but it is one I kind of found myself really riveted with while I was watching the film and all that. And the film is really well paced as well, since the film is pretty lengthy here, because it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is a pretty reasonable runtime here. But again, it's very well paced here. However, the only issue I have with this film here is that there are times as I was watching the film, I kind of felt this film was kind of similar to another film that's kind of like this and all that. And that is The Talented Mr. Ripley, which that's a really great film. And there are times as I was watching the film, I was like, yeah, it's kind of similar to that film and all that. And I was a bit distracted for some of those moments and all that as I was watching the film and all that. But overall, in the end, guys, Saltburn, I generally thought this film was fantastic. But it's absolutely bizarre as hell and all that. But I wouldn't necessarily say this is like Emerald Fennell's like next great film or anything like that. I wouldn't say this is like better than her last film or anything like that. But this still is another great achievement that she's made for her film library here. And if you're a fan of Emerald Fennell, or you're a fan of like these kind of films, or any of the cast of Barry Keoghan or anyone else, I can definitely say this would definitely be a good cup of tea for yourselves here and all that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Saltburn. I'm gonna give Saltburn 4.5 out of 5. Like I said before, I generally had a blast with this new Emerald Fennell film here. But like I said before, I wouldn't necessarily say this is better than her last film, which is Promising Young Woman, which I do much prefer that film a bit more than this, though. But still, though, like I said, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie here and all that. So thank you guys so much for watching my AK After I Saw review on Saltburn. And let me know what you think of this movie, if you have seen this already, or if you just recently checked this out. Did you have a blast with this, or was this not really a cup of tea? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Fogan's Media Corner signing off.